Call the cops on me. On a mission to be champs since they let me free. Prepare for combat, my adversaries crumble. Face it, I got a reputation for damage. Busters get ready to rumble. They lock me in a cell, have me trapped in a living hell. Though not guilty, I'm still in jail. Brother, I serve my time like a soldier. Maintain composure. My shadow boxing the fight to the death, busting boulders. Every boxer with a pair of gloves. Best give up love. Here's a man from the makings of a thug. A lethal weapon, mind sharp. And in my heart, there's a wish to shake the world with the flurry of my black fist. Now once a high school dropout, now I'm the $1 million champ. Who's the next to get knocked out? Straight out of Brooklyn and worldwide.
Yeah! What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Half of the dynamic duo. This is Cheap Seats Boxing Show. This is JP. We're going to do this right. Follow us on every platform. iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Podomatic, iPadio, Windows Phone, SoundCloud, on and 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 on and. Okay, now, first part we're going to get to is last week's fights. You know, Jacob Selecki. Fun, competitive fight. Jacobs always comes to fight. Selecki came out like, we working right here. We working right here. Made it competitive, made it a good fight. Jacobs, in exciting fashion, closed the show with a knockdown late. And you gotta, he's always an exciting fighter. He always tries to please the crowd, which is a great thing. I would say he definitely put his name in the hat for whatever goes on later on in the year in the middleweight division. Challenging Charlo for another fight is great. What I see so far, it would be an exciting fight. As far as who I would see winning at this particular point, Charlo, because if you get in a fight with Charlo, I think he's the hardest puncher in the division right now. I really do. His knockouts are serious. And that says something because the middleweight division got some people who could really throw bombs. They can really crack. Jacobs can throw bombs. Of course, Triple G can throw bombs. I think Lemieux, I think the Canelo is looked at as a hard puncher, but he's not. I don't think he's looked at as having the power of those other guys, even though everybody knows he's a hell of a puncher. So, just in my opinion, if you get into a firefight with Charlo, I would pretty much pick him. But the thing about Jacobs was he showed those wrinkles in his game. And that's what's great about a fighter like him. He's a boxer, he's a puncher, he's a fighter. He's what we respect. He follows the flow of the fight. He shows that he can do different things. He gets that the crowd wants excitement and they want some action too. So as far as he's a showman, I would say that he's a great showman, and that's taking nothing away from him because he's the kind of fighter you want to watch because he's willing to risk it all so the fans can get a good show. And I gotta respect that. I just have to respect that. It's no getting around that. I love it. I really do. But I was saying, as far as Charlo's concerned, that's one of the angles that could cost him a fight against a fighter like Charlo. But we love to see. That's what part of the sport as a fan is about. Is loving to see a fighter willing to take another fighter out or willing to go out on the shield trying to do it. That's why, I'm a fan of Danny Jacobs. Not just the backstory of beating cancer, but he comes in there, he wants to win convincingly. He wants to beat you. He wants everybody to know there's no questions about what's up. If he gets knocked down, he's gonna get up and he's gonna keep coming. You know what I'm saying? He's that type of fighter that he's the fighter that you as a fan love at heart because he has a fighting spirit. So I tip my hat off to him about the victory. I just had to be objective as far as the fight is concerned, but he's always one of my top guys. I mean, I like him, Badu, I gotta respect fighters like that. It's just it is what it is. Like you can't get around that. Big Baby and Duhopis beat him convincingly. But I think because he's a heavyweight and he's so big and he talks so much, and the heavyweight division is pretty much filled with heavy hitters, to get to that next level, he's going to have to go on a knockout streak, like a devastating knockout streak. You know, and because of his size, you would expect he can do it. And don't get it twisted, he has a high knockout percentage, but when you think of heavyweight division, you think of just huge punchers. And at the moment, Big Baby don't necessarily come up, you know, as a huge punchers. But like I said, 21-0 with 18 knockouts. You can't dismiss that. It's just at that size, and Duhopis is not a small guy, so let's get that in the mix. It's just you want, you know, him to put people out there. And the guy that's 6'5", 244, it ain't that easy to say. But more so statements. You know, the victories counts, but I think people want statements. And I get that. I really do get that. In the UK, Arthur Abraham won, which you can't knock Arthur Abraham for winning because, you know, not split decision, but he won. And he kind of stays under the radar winning. That's what it is. Oh, man. Jesse Magdaleno got knocked out in the 11th. That was just, I mean, for some, that throws a monkey wrench in the division, you know, into a degree, but not so much. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, you know, because the Donaire loss, cool. This KO, I don't know. I don't, because, you know, you got doggone fighters from Africa, dog. Like we say, you know, certain countries have tough fighters, you know, Japan, Africa, you know, South America, just tough cookies, man, just tough cookies. Or Asia in general, like, you know, tough cookies. They've been surprising people on the low, but you got to watch yourself with these guys. You know, they're coming for people's heads. So Isaac, congratulations, bro. Jennings versus with Duwaco. I always mess up people's names, and I'm sorry, but you know, unanimous decision. But as a heavyweight, like I said, you gotta knock people out, man. You gotta knock people out. Jesse Hart had a knockout. That's what you need in boxing. Osito, unanimous decision, basically wash Cruz. I mean, he's back in the mix, but it's a deep division, so I don't know. Maybe he gets a fight with somebody like Berto right now. I don't know, because like I said, it's a deep division, so you still got to actually work your way up. So who knows what the future holds with that one. But it's with the welterweight division, it's one of those divisions where there are a lot of names. So you can make a good fight at different levels with pretty much anybody. So, and the winner of that fight can be a stepping stone up the ladder. So it's one of those things. Darrell Hahn. Darrell pretty much did the same thing. Unanimous decision. You know, that's cool. It's all good. You got to tip your hat off to Erickson Lubin. Had a 4th round knockout. He getting himself back in the game. So, you know, when he starts rolling, because Lubin is one of those fighters that can be interesting in the future. Just because of his age, because of his experience, because of, you know, the loss to Jermell. Jermell's a great fighter. So it counts, but then again, you know, Jamel is just a beast. Jamel and Jamal are just beasts in the ring. So losing to them is not necessarily a loss for most people. It could be looked at as a learning experience. But that fight didn't last so long, so you know what I'm saying. But the fact that he came back and he got a fourth round TKO, you got to tip your hat off to him. I'm glad you got that's the confidence builders that we need for younger fighters who hit a wall, and even the older fighters who feel like, do I still got it? You love to see stuff like that, because now I can get the ball rolling, and his name going to come back up in the mix, and it's great for the division. It's great for the sport. So congratulations to you too. With that being said, you know, this week we got, you know, let's be honest, the big fight that should have been a bigger fight, and I'll start there really, is Triple G and Vanes, which was supposed to be Triple G Canelo, right? You know, everybody is going to say, you know, it's just a fight that just had to get put together because of a failed fight. And that's what it basically is. I don't know how competitive this is going to be because of, you know, Vanes is a good, awkward fighter. But at the same time, you know, his last fight was in 2016. And he's not a real middleweight. He's like a super welterweight. So this is not set up for him to have any kind, like, this might be a total, this could be a fight where a guy just lays it out on the line, or this is a fight where he could just get completely demolished just because he's so rusty. But you got to think about his last three opponents, like Jermell Charlo, Ishe Smith, and Arizlandi Lara. Those are the last three guys he was in fights with. So you can't, you can't say that he hasn't been in there with great competition. It's just, that was 2016. It's almost going to be 2 years to the day of his last fight. So you know that he's not really prepared. And it was a last minute thing. And I got to dip into this part of it. You know, even though, like, Canelo got busted, you can't, that's what happened. They suspended him. That's what happened. Now it's coming out like, you know, his hair didn't pass, or his hair did pass. Like, you know, Angelo told me about the hair not, like the hair being clean. And I could dig that. And for some odd reason, I just heard that the hair wasn't. But maybe I was, you know, whatever. But him being popped is what it is. My issue is I don't want to, because of this back and forth, my problem with that is this going to be like a Luis Ortiz situation where, we probably shouldn't have suspended him or popped him, so we're going to throw this back in the mix. Because, like I told Angelo today at work, I was like, you know, these sanctioning bodies do whatever they want. So even if he was suspended by VADA for 6 months, that's one thing. But they could say in their eyes he's good. Because I think the WBC already said that. So it's like, you never know, man. Like, you never really know because the business is so tricky like that. Me personally, you got popped by VADA. Like, being popped by VADA means you got popped. But, and I think there's a lot of negative stereotypes that's going to come with that that's well deserving. You know, so you can't get around that either. But I'm just going to sit back and wait and figure out what are they actually going to do next. You know, because things change. You know, in my opinion, he's going to always be looked at as a cheater. That's going to be part of his legacy. And I'm going to interject this. I think it's a different scenario with Canelo if you involve other greats. So like I would say Floyd, Manny, and Margarito. People have felt like they have cheated, but it wasn't proven. You know, they've been looked at as doing suspicious things, but it wasn't proven. This is proven, so it's going to stick a whole lot more than the things that can be considered accusations, but even though they're still looked at as cheaters in one way, shape, form, or another by people, depending on how you look at it or how you take the sport. Once you get caught on record, you caught on record. Like people, we all like Shane Mosley, but he was still caught on record, so it's still going to be looked at as cheating. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. Like, it, you know, you can't get around that. It's just no get around that. I'm gonna skip to the next fight because that's more important right now. Oh, you know, cross the pond, David Haye, Tony Bellew at heavyweight. You know, it's an interesting fight more than one way because they're cruiserweights. Well, Bellew's a cruiserweight, and Haye used to be a cruiserweight, but this fight is supposed to be scheduled at heavyweight. So, and I think it puts people in the mix for, I would say, I guess the winner is in the mix for somebody like Joshua if it's actually at heavyweight. Like, makes no sense to me, but whatever. You know, everybody knows I'm taking Bellew. If I didn't say earlier, I'm taking Triple G over Martirosyan. I think it's just going to be a destruction. My bad. I'm taking Bellew over Haye for sure, just because of, you know, Haye's been hurt too much. His last fight was a little bit over a year ago with Bellew, you know. And it was gutsy performance. Don't get it twisted. Gutsy performance. But at the same time, the age and the injuries catch up with you. And I think this might be one of those scenarios where I think Bellew might just put him out the pasture in this one. To be perfectly honest, I think he might just put him out the pasture. Because one of the things people forget, and it's why it was an intense little standoff they had. Bellew tried to, the respectful pound thing in the last fight. And Haye just, went for a haymaker, sucker punch / it's illegal in boxing move. And it's like, that's desperate. And when you're desperate, if it doesn't pay off for you, what it does tell your opponent is that, you ain't on you can't beat them. There's no way that you can really beat them. So this is, for me, just as a fan, this is all Tony Bellew's fight. I'm tripping right now. I was about to say the character from Creed, but it is what it is. Kamita Noriega is in Tokyo. Not gonna be televised, but put a pin in that. That might be a good fight. Now that that's been said, it's some other things I want to talk about in boxing right now. First and foremost, the other fighters who are going at Canelo, they have a reason to. The unfinished business part about Canelo and Triple G is still valid. But this is going to be something, just in my opinion, that's really going to put either a black eye on boxing, or it's going to turn boxing into something great. And what I mean by that is, Danny Jacobs brought up, like, we need to have a tournament at 160. That would actually be one of the best things to happen to that division right now. Because if you're a Canelo fan, this ruined part of his legacy. But think about the middleweight division right now. And think about a tournament right now in the 160 division. Just off the top of my head, you got Canelo, Triple G, Charlo, Jacobs, Lemieux. That's just off the top of my head. I know I'm missing somebody. But just with that group alone, you got enough firepower to really energize the whole division. Because Canelo, whether you like it or not, he's going to have to fight his way back into a top spot. And he's going to have to go through these guys regardless. I mean, I don't think, even though him and Triple G have unfinished business, he's not getting back being, quote unquote, the face of boxing just because he came back after being popped for PEDs. He's not. It's not happening that way. You know, so with everything going on, it's going to be a big problem. Big problem. So you got to fight your way back to the top. And we talking about a division with some hitters. So it could be great for boxing, but if you try to circumvent that, and I'm not talking about Canelo per se, I'm talking about just, you know, the way that, how can I say this? In that division, when you think of the top middleweights, you pretty much think of guys who want to fight any and everybody. But also what you think about is promotional companies trying to angle into making this fight or that fight or prolong this or prolong that. That's what I'm saying would give boxing a black eye. Because there ain't really anywhere to go at this particular point but to just let everybody have at it. It's really not. And you know, winner take all at the end of the day. And that was the other thing I was thinking about. There's other names that could be put in play. You know, Lara just lost at 54. He could move up. Everybody's bigger than him anyways, and he's fought most of these people. He's fought Canelo, so you know where that goes. Him and the Charlos are cool. I don't know if that fight is gonna happen per se, but I think, you know, if it had to go down, they would actually do it. So that's in play also. But even him fighting somebody like Lemieux is cool. Then you have somebody on the outskirts who's willing to jump a division or two, like Errol Spence. You know, if I would say he takes on 47 and gets that first, but that's a future possibility for the division. So for me, it's like, man, this is a wide open game, and you can turn a negative situation into a positive, because this pay-per-view might not be so positive at the end of the day, but it's Triple G, and Triple G is going to come to fight. So I know Triple G is going to do his job. But it's just unfortunate that this Triple G is not going to get his just due. This is why I think him and Canelo definitely have unfinished business. But I hate to say this, but this plays more in Canelo's favor because he's younger. But at the same time, you never know which way this situation goes. Just you really don't. So we had to keep it short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank everybody for listening. We don't say that enough. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for enjoying. Thank y'all for commenting. Thank y'all for rating and reviewing. Thank you for keeping us relevant. You know what I'm saying? Paulie, thank you for responding to Angelo going at you on Twitter. That's Paulie Malignaggi. I mean, that's at least you take the time to say, man, either you're gonna check us or not check us, or it's all good, because that says something too. At least we can engage with some of boxing's best. So we appreciate you too. I do too. I like you, so it's all good. But Angelo got getting at you, so it's all good too. So we trash talkers like everybody else. But thank everybody. And we're gonna keep plugging at it. Don't get it twisted. We work a lot, and we have to mix these things up. It's not like it used to be per se, but we're gonna keep plugging at it. And this is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate, and we do it just like that from the cheap seats, because we ain't buying no tickets. Goddamn it! Peace.
Please believe that I'll never be shamed again. Again, I'll be the next heavyweight champion. Call me crazy, but no one can fake me. I'm the product of the projects, lost and crazy. Throw your hands up, Mr. Bruno. Ride, Big Mike Tyson about to brutalize that ass tonight. No hesitation for the whole nation. I'll beat that ass so bad I'll probably violate probation. Do demonstration as I strategize information. Intensive